Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Somi and I missed the posting schedule again. So I'll bombard you guys with 3 videos and 2 shorts today, hopefully. Anyways, seriously, this video is day 3 and 4 of Personal Development Advent Calendar 2024 and the topic for today's video is breaking and making habits. There have been countless number of times in everyone's lives where they decided to do something and make it a daily habit but ended up not doing it. And times where they wanted to stop doing something but ended up continuing it. And again, as I said it in the last video, the answer to this too is being more conscious and paying more attention to what you're doing in your daily routines and lives. When you brain-dumped in the first ever video of this series, you listed what you wanted to stop and what you wanted to do more of, the habits you wanted to break and the ones that you wanted to make. If you feel like you have enough material for this, continue. If not, pause this video and analyze yourself, your days and routines in depth. Notice all the things you do consciously or unconsciously throughout your day. Sit with the list, maybe on paper or digital or mental, and read it over. First, just understand these habits and then analyze what habits are constructive for your ideal self and what are destructive for your ideal self. Again, people with different goals will have different habits that they need in their days. A sports person will have a more active day spent on practicing their sport, exercising, and doing all kinds of sporty things throughout the day. And they might even have to follow a specific diet daily. They might have to take out time for quiet and peace so that they can take care of their mental health also. Whereas a writer, on the other hand, will have to, have a less active day and they'll read a ton of books, make notes, plot, write, edit, brainstorm, build their characters, all while sitting in front of their computers or on a pen or paper. Either ways, they might have to take time off for physical activity and eye exercises so that they can take care of their physical health also. And that too were two very broad topics. For example, let's take writers. They can be writers who are also students, so they might need to take time for studies. Writers who love dancing, so they will have an hour or 2 of dance practice daily. Writers who love family time, so they have mandatory time slot in their day to spend time with family. Writers who also maintain social media, so they have to script, edit, and post consistently. Writers who also maintain social media, so they have to script, edit, and post consistently. Writers who love socializing and go hang out or party every weekend. Writers who love traveling, so they go out twice every month. People who do this, people who do that, do this, do that. You can never be described as someone with specified set of traits or habits. You and your ideal self are some very unique person that will have so many different traits and habits. Like, I can be a writer and I am a writer, but along with daily writing, I also love my family. I'm also a student. I write fiction over here, but I study science at school. So they are different things, but I like different things. So I do different things, and for those different things to be done properly in my day, I have different habits. Similarly, you love different things. You might also be a writer, but like in weekend, I just sit and spend more time with family. You might go out with friends or go out to make new friends. It's completely different. Okay, so there will be a lot of different set of hobbies, habits, traits, actions, and amongst this ocean which goes in deep till we don't know how deep, there always will be some person who is different and will be like, oh, we never thought this would be like that, someone could be like that, blah blah blah. But amongst this sea of so many different people, habits, traits, you need to actually know who exactly your ideal self is and what habits they have. Then look back at your current habits. Maybe you want to be a good sports person, but instead of daily practice, you're sitting and scrolling social media for long hours. Do you think that habit is good for you as an ideal self who is a sports person? No, right? So you would want to change that. But if you're a digital marketer or a content creator, scrolling social media, getting inspired, and knowing your audience and competition is a good thing. So you wouldn't want to change that very same habit that the sports person had to cut off on. Understand this and conclude which habits you want to break and which ones you want to make depending on who you and your ideal self are, instead of seeing some person on the internet or reading some book who says this is a good habit, that is a bad habit. Who is there to define good or bad? As I just told you, scrolling social media was good for the content creator or digital marketer, but bad for the sports person. To understand this and conclude which habits you want to break and which ones you want to make, when you're done with this, you need to start taking actions. So let's start. Every habit is built of 4 parts: cue, craving, response, and reward, as James Clear stated in his very popular book Atomic Habits. Cue is something that triggers your brain to be wanting to do a specific thing. Craving is the want that is generated out of a cue. Response is the action you take in order to fulfill that craving. And finally, reward is the final goal. It is the craving satisfied. For example, as soon as you enter the kitchen, you see a box of cookies that you like, and seeing them makes you want to eat them. So the cookies being so clearly placed at the very front of your eyes is the cue. And you wanting to eat them is a craving, which was triggered by this cue. Now, to fulfill that craving, you take an action, which is you walking over to the box, opening it, eating the cookies, and that was your response to the cue. When you eat them, you feel happy, satisfied, and that's a reward. It will happen once, twice, thrice, and the 4th time you'll walk in just to repeat that action so that you can get the reward. And soon that place will also be the designated spot for the cookies, and it would be so easy for you just to unconsciously walk in the kitchen, go to that exact same place, pick up that exact same cookie box, open it, eat the cookie, and get the reward of feeling happy over eating something so yummy. But then it will be an unconscious habit, and you'll repeat it daily, more times over the day, and maybe it will be a bad habit soon because you're eating way too much cookies and it has a lot of sugars and butter and whatever thing that might not be healthy for your health if you eat that much. So that is how habits are made, and those were the 4 parts or steps of habits, which is cue, craving, response, and reward. So now that you understand this, the math becomes simple. For everything that you do not want to continue doing, hide the cues. And for everything that you want to start doing, highlight the cues. For everything that you do not want to continue doing, hide the cues. And for everything that you do want to continue doing, highlight the cues. So, as stated in Atomic Habits, to make a habit, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And to break a habit, make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Start with changing your environment. Every single thing that surrounds you has a particular kind of trigger in your brain. If A has a sweet tooth and he sees a box of cookies, he'll respond by eating them. B, however, doesn't like sweets, so he might not even notice that box sitting over there. So A here will need to move that box of cookies away to someplace else so that it is harder for A to go get them. But B will not need to do anything. So if there is a cue that triggers your bad habit, like the cookie box did for A, make that cue invisible. That is the first step to breaking a bad habit. To make a good habit, do the opposite. Make that cue visible. Maybe you don't drink enough water daily. So go get a few cute bottles, fill them up and carry one with yourself, or place them in places in your home where you know you will definitely notice them. That way you will be reminded to drink water regularly. Make your environment in such a way that the right thing to do is very, very easy so that you don't feel friction and hence resistance for doing it. And similarly, the bad thing to do or the wrong thing to do for your condition is very difficult. Another thing you can do is link a cue with the reward of the previous action or habit. This is called habit stacking, where one habit follows another, so it's all stacked up on top of each other. You can do this by linking an already existing habit, which is good or neutral, to the new one that you might want to form. For example, S is an aspiring author, but she doesn't have a daily routine for writing. Though every evening she makes herself a cup of coffee and scrolls social media for hours since she had nothing to do. She can stack the habit of writing over the habit of making coffee daily by saying to herself or deciding that after she makes coffee, she will start writing. You can also take, an accountability partner for this. Maybe don't not only tell it to yourself, but to a family member that lives with you. Maybe tell it to your parents, maybe tell it to your partner that after I make coffee, I'll start writing. So if you do not do that and do something else, they'll remind you, no, you had to write after making coffee, right? So do that. And that is called habit stacking, which is a real good way of making new habits. Now, another thing that you can add to this habit stacking to more efficiently make a new habit is temptation building formula, which will help to make this attractive. Because as we said, to make habits, make it visible, attractive, easy, and fun, right? So we also have to make it attractive. So temptation building formula added to habit stacking will make that habit attractive. This is when you use the reward of a new habit as the cue for an old habit that you really loved. Like, after I make coffee, I'll start writing. Add to this that after I'm done with writing, I'll check social media. So you already like checking social media. But in order to check social media, you'll have to complete writing. That will be the cue for you to get the reward of checking social media. So here, the completion of writing, which was the reward of the new habit that you wanted to make, is used as the cue for an already loved habit. So you would want to complete your writing for that day more faster, and you would actually want to do that because without doing it, you won't get the cue to start checking social media. Another thing that you can do is change your mindset, and instead of looking at what a habit does in short term, focus on what it will do in long term. Like exercising might be energy draining and hard in the short term, but pays with a good health in long term. This seemingly small shift in mindset can play a huge role in whether you want to do something or not. Similarly, if you highlight the harms caused by doing a particular bad habit, you'll be less likely to do it more often. Start with small steps and then slowly add up and make it big. Like maybe you don't have a habit of studying and you ask yourself to start studying for 5 hours a day out of nowhere, like just go study in 5 hours today. I promise you will fail at reaching this goal. But instead, if you start with 1 hour a day, continue that till it feels easy, then make it 2 hours, continue it till it feels easy. Keep doing this, you can study for even 6, 7, 8 hours a day with ease. But give yourself breaks, you need to breathe. Also, remember when you fall out of track, get back up immediately instead of going, I'll start doing it the next week, next month, next year. No, please do it right now because that will never help. Doing it right now will only help. Do it now, now, now. This was a long video, and while some parts were completely my own, there were many parts that were my understanding of Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I actually suggest you that you go get this book, read it, because it's a deep dive into habits, their formation, breaking them, making them, everything. And that's an amazing book. Like, it's a perfect guide to help you build good habits and break bad ones. And easy and proven way to break bad habits and build good ones. Why am I stuttering in the easiest part, the most obvious part? I do not know. But actually, this is a really good book and I loved reading it. There were so many things in this video inspired by this very book. So I do think that if you want to change, you might also like to read it, or maybe you have read it already. If you have, so comment down. And also, thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Constructions. Okay, so when you understand this and